back to Concepts of Biology. We'll continue to read Chapter 3, Section 3.3, Eukaryotic Cells, Animal Cells versus Plant Cells. By the end of this video, you will be able to describe the structure of eukaryotic plant and animal cells. Despite their functional similarities, there are some striking differences between animal and plant cells. Animal cells have centrioles, centrosomes discussed under cytoskeleton, and lysosomes, whereas plant cells do not. Plant cells have a cell wall, chloroplasts, plasmodesmata, and plastids used for storage, and a large central vacuole, whereas animal cells do not. The cell wall. In Figure 3.7b, the diagram of a plant cell, you see a structure external to the plasma membrane called the cell wall. The cell wall is a rigid covering that protects the cell, provides structural support, and gives shape to the cell. Fungal and protist cells also have cell walls. While the chief component of prokaryotic cell walls is peptidoglycan, the major organic molecule in the plant cell wall is cellulose, a polysaccharide made up of long, straight chains of glucose units. When nutritional information refers to dietary fiber, it is referring to the cellulose content of food. Chloroplasts. Like mitochondria, chloroplasts also have their own DNA and ribosomes. Chloroplasts function in photosynthesis and can be found in eukaryotic cells such as plants and algae. In photosynthesis, carbon dioxide, water, and light energy are used to make glucose and oxygen. This is a major difference between plants and animals. Plants, or autotrophs, are able to make their own food, like glucose, whereas animals, which are heterotrophs, must rely on other organisms for their organic compounds or food source. Like mitochondria, chloroplasts have outer and inner membranes, but within the space enclosed by a chloroplast's inner membrane is a set of interconnected and stacked fluid-filled membrane sacs called thylakoids. Each stack of thylakoids is called a granum, plural grana. The fluid enclosed by the inner membrane and surrounding the grana is called the stroma.
Hi! If you found this video informative, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share the link. We want these free textbook resources to be available to other students. Alright, let's get back to reading.
Figure 3.15. This simplified diagram of a chloroplast shows the outer membrane, inner membrane, thylakoids, grana, and stroma. The chloroplasts contain a green pigment called chlorophyll, which captures the energy of sunlight for photosynthesis. Like plant cells, photosynthetic protists also have chloroplasts. Some bacteria also perform photosynthesis, but they do not have chloroplasts. Their photosynthetic pigments are located in the thylakoid membrane within the cell itself. Endosymbiosis. We have mentioned that both mitochondria and chloroplasts contain DNA and ribosomes. Have you wondered why? Strong evidence points to endosymbiosis as the explanation. Symbiosis is a relationship in which organisms from two separate species live in close association and typically exhibit specific adaptations to each other. Endosymbiosis, endo meaning within, is a relationship in which one organism lives inside the other. Endosymbiotic relationships abound in nature. Microbes that produce vitamin K live inside the human gut. This relationship is beneficial for us because we are unable to synthesize vitamin K. It is also beneficial for the microbes because they are protected from other organisms and are provided a stable habitat and abundant food by living within the large intestine. Scientists have long noticed that bacteria, mitochondria, and chloroplasts are similar in size. We also know that mitochondria and chloroplasts have DNA and ribosomes just as bacteria do. Scientists believe that host cells and bacteria form a mutually beneficial endosymbiotic relationship when the host cells ingested aerobic bacteria and cyanobacteria but did not destroy them. Through evolution, these ingested bacteria became more specialized in their functions, with aerobic bacteria becoming mitochondria and the photosynthetic bacteria becoming chloroplasts. The central vacuole. Previously, we mentioned vacuoles as essential components of plant cells. If you look at figure 3.7, you will see that plant cells each have a large central vacuole that occupies most of the cell. The central vacuole plays a key role in regulating the cell's concentration of water in changing environmental conditions. In plant cells, the liquid inside the central vacuole provides turgor pressure, which is the outward pressure caused by the fluid inside the cell. Have you ever noticed that if you forget to water a plant for a few days, it wilts? That is because as the water concentration in the soil becomes lower than the water concentration in the plant, water moves out of the central vacuoles and cytoplasm and into the soil. As the central vacuole shrinks, it leaves the cell wall unsupported. This loss of support to the cell walls of a plant results in the wilted appearance. Additionally, this fluid has a very bitter taste which discourages consumption by insects and animals. The central vacuole also functions to store proteins in developing seed cells. This ends Chapter 3, Section 3.3, Animal Cells versus Plant Cells. In our next video, we'll read Section 3.3, Extracellular Matrix of Animal Cells.